Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Second Act Actors. I'm your host, Dr. Janet McMorty, and I'm still a medical doctor simultaneously trying to pursue a career in acting. My guest this week is one of the most badass people I have had the privilege of virtually meeting, Shawn Lawrence. I was virtually introduced to Shawn from a mutual friend of ours, Andrew Butcher. A mutual virtual friend of ours, Andrew Butcher. Andrew Butcher, you may remember, he was on my show. He's a stunt performer and actor. He's part of the Royal Butcher family of stunt coordinators and stunt performers here in Canada. His dad, Randy Butcher, is a stunt coordinator. Andrew Butcher is a stunt performer, stunt coordinator, and actor. They have their own podcast together, and I love their podcast. I listen to every episode, and I'd heard Shawn's episode of their podcast, and I said, Andrew, I need to interview this human being. He's the most badass person I've ever heard. I think their conversation together was like 3 hours long, and I listened to the whole darn thing. Shawn is so cool, and you'll hear. He has the coolest pathway to getting into acting. Oh my goodness. He has a career in law enforcement, doing very badass things in law enforcement. He will describe them to you in this upcoming episode. He's been a celebrity bodyguard. He's now a stunt performer as well as pursuing a career in acting. Please enjoy, I'll say it again, the most badass person I've ever had the privilege of virtually meeting, Shawn Lawrence. Tell me your story. How did you get into this crazy acting business?
Well, I got to go back a little bit. So when I was in a very one of the largest police services in Canada, and through the unit that I was attached to for pretty much almost 29 years of my career, one of the specialties that I had was being a bomb technician, an explosive technician. And in the city where the film industry is huge in Toronto. So on set, you have a lot of pyrotechnics and a lot of things explode and whatnot. So the city decided through experience, and unfortunately it wasn't that good experience. There were a couple of accidents going on sets where they needed somebody from the city, and I am a city employee, to be on set to make sure that everything is done properly. Like, you know, a lot of times on set with the pyrotechnic community, to save time, they'll build the explosive beforehand. Let's say if they want to put something behind a door, the door's already built, right? Just to save time. And that's when accidents happen because nobody really monitors it. So one of my tasks at the beginning was to monitor these types of things on sets, and not only to protect the city in terms of liability, like say if a structure blows up, there are some issues that we got to deal with, but also to protect the pyrotechnic community because they build something, and as you know, the director would say, oh, I want bigger. I need something bigger, a bigger explosion, more car flips, more burning, stuff like that, or more bullets. So the pyrotechnic people, they don't want to lose their job. So they'll so they would come to me and says, look, we don't feel comfortable doing this. And then I would go to the director or whoever's, first AD or whatnot and say, buddy, this is not happening on my set. If you want to do this, if you force me, I'm closing the set down. And I had that power. And we've done it a couple of times. Doesn't happen that often. But we're also there to protect the pyrotechnic community. So that's how I started in the film industry. But then through there, being on set, I bumped into a few people that were set security. So they would be kind of looking after the A-listers. They, in terms of security, fans, whatnot, make sure everything's good with them when they're away from home, spending time in the city. And so I befriended some of them, and they asked me, hey, would you like to do close protection for A-listers, like a bodyguard in the normal world? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? Something else to do, right? Like, it's not like I'm doing everything else. I have a career with a tactical unit, and yeah, sure, bring it on, right? So I worked for a company from Los Angeles for probably I started about maybe 8 years ago. And so I was doing both at the same time. And I'm on set, and so I was very comfortable on set. And then I'm thinking, I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. So then I started getting into doing not background, what they would call, or extras. It would be special skills extra. So that means they would bring people from the outside that have a specific skill, like riding horses, which kind of, funny enough, I have that too. But because of my weapons experience, because of what I've done for so long, my whole career, why not have a real tactical officer, SWAT officer, do the roles of SWAT as opposed to bringing somebody else just to make it more authentic? And so then the movie industry started doing that, probably about 12 years ago. So I said, sure. So I jumped into that, right? And so I started being more comfortable on camera. And then from there, right into stunts. And that's where I met our friend, the Butchers, where I did that for a while. And then there was a really good show that came out that they were auditioning. They needed a SWAT team on this particular show. I can say the show. It's called Mayor of Kingstown. Great show. Season 1 was filmed all here.
Yeah.
And yeah. And funny, I just got off texting with Hugh Dillon. I was just inquiring about maybe season 3, right? But anyway, so I auditioned for that, and sure enough, I got it. And it was a fantastic experience to be a stunt actor on that show. I got a ton of camera time, but I wanted more. And towards the end of season 1, which I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. We didn't know yet if season 2 was going to happen. There was a lot of rumors about that. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, Hugh Dillon, and he actually said, Shawn, why don't you just go full acting? And here we are. And that's in a small intro as to how I got into acting. And here I am. I got an agent just after Christmas. She's great. And yeah, so right there, and it's so challenging, as you know, right, to break into the movie industry as actors. But I'm working on it. But I still developing my craft, and all kidding aside, I think I'm damn good. I'm really happy with it. And I have an acting coach, really solid dude, Gemini winner, really good dude. So here I am. That's how I got into acting.
What was it about acting that made you say, like, I want to do this more? Like, were you a creative kid growing up? Like, what is it about acting that really drew you?
Funny enough, I have, and this is through my whole adult career, I've had a bit of a phobia being on stage in front of a crowd of 150 people. Like, let's say you're running a lecture. I didn't really feel comfortable. But you put me in front of phones or a lens, and I just open up, and I just love it. I just love the acting, the creativity. As a kid, I used to always do plays, and so yeah, I just, it's funny, like, because when I was on this particular show, what attracted me really into acting, other than I just love the creative side of things, I want my name on a chair. I want my name on a chair. I don't care what size name they put, but I want that name on a nice wooden chair. And that's one of those small goals, baby steps, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just love acting. I just and it really opens. I don't know, like probably with you too. Like it was different. When I'm off camera, I'm a totally different person. But when I get on camera, just that switch goes on, and then I'm just like, poof. My wife she still doesn't believe to this day, she didn't know me like this. She still thinks, I can't believe you're this guy when you're in front of a camera. It's kind of fun. But yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember my partner saying something very similar, right? Being like, this is like, they were kind of not freaked out, but just like more intrigued. because they kind of knew me as like doctor and like athlete, but like the creative part, which was always there, but we kind of tampered down because there were other priorities, especially like, the training that it takes to get to where I am. And I can only imagine the training it took to get to where you are in your other career. Kind of it requires you to blindfold yourself to everything else, just focus on this.
Yeah, it did. One of the other things that actually helped me with acting, I'm one of the negotiators for the city when it comes to high risk incidents in this big city of ours. And what that entails is, let's say, somebody's having a crisis. Somebody doesn't want to live anymore. Somebody wants to jump off a bridge, a building. The things like that happen, right? And you have to speak to this person, negotiate with him, and it could take anywhere from the shortest ones could be like maybe 20 minutes, and all the way to like 15 hours of talking. And you cycle through. I mean, you can't talk for 15 hours, but that's maybe the one thing that really helped me absorb what it takes to be an actor is my negotiating skills. Because you're pretty much, not that you're acting, because you actually do have to listen to the person that's in trouble and try to resolve it. So not in the sense of that, but just to listen and have a dialogue with somebody in front of you for so long and trying to keep that focus. I think that's helped me with my craft, with my skill set. Oh, and hopefully it only gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me through your other career. Like, what? I know you've mentioned so many incredible things already. Bomb technician, hostage negotiator. Like, tell me more about your job.
Well, in essence, especially in Canada, they don't call them SWAT units because special weapons and tactics, that's what SWAT is. It sounded too aggressive to the Canadian people. So they've invented, there's all kinds of names, an emergency response unit, emergency, usually it's with an emergency, and then the response unit, or emergency tactical unit, and emergency task force. Those are in the film community, at least in Ontario or in Toronto, they know the ETF. That's because we're always on set for the pyrotechnics that I told you before. But we're there. Like that's what we do, and we're pretty much anything that's high risk incidents or anything that the police needs help to resolve. They would call us to attend, and that could be anything from breaching a door to get to somebody that's in trouble. I mean, you have the fire department, but they don't know what's behind the door, so they can't deal with in terms of, let's say, if there's somebody there with a knife or a gun or a bat or a hammer. It's not their function. Their function is to more of a rescue. So anything from that to people that are in medical crisis, that have some mental illness, that need some help. That's probably, we really specialize. We're really good at that. And that's just because the volume of the calls that we do, which the unit that I was attached to, we're probably one of the, I could say, probably top 3 busiest in North America. It's just we're that busy. And that's because we have a lot of tools of the trade. What else do we do? Violent criminals, somebody that's barricaded, anybody that's barricaded, we would deal with that. High risk prisoner escorts, hostage rescue, warrant service. I mean, that list goes on. I mean, I off the top of my head, people armed with edged weapons, firearms, that kind of stuff. So it's just, and it's the fact that, there's so many people that live in this big city of ours. The volume is there, and it's just really busy, and we're quite large. This is the one that I was attached to was the largest tactical team in Canada. So it's not a secret. I mean, you can kind of say, okay, well, which one is it? So now you know where I used to work. And I had a great career there. The longevity that I had, and I can honestly say, not that I'm patting myself on the back, but it's a very physical job. And I was there. I broke the record. Nobody's been there longer than I have, over 28 years. And that's because I went there when I was really, really young. I was barely a first-class constable when I got there. And I was lucky enough that I was healthy enough that I spent my whole career pretty much there. Out of 32 years of policing, over 28 was at a tactical unit. So I take pride in that, and blessed. I'm really blessed that met a lot of great people, saved a ton of lives, and put away a lot of bad people. And sometimes it's the ultimate sacrifice that that you have to do, but we look at it as we save people. That's what we do. That's the line of business that we're in. But yeah, so
did that humanity side of it, is that what drew you to this line of police work? Like, what drew you into that specific?
I loved because I was, I wasn't a high level athlete, but I was very athletic. I'm not a desk person. I got to go out there and do something. I love teamwork, and and athletes, they love the teamwork aspect of things. It just attracted me right off the bat. It attracted me, and I was just lucky enough. They say in the movie industry, timing is everything. Well, also with this, timing was everything on when you want a specialized unit like that. And I was just lucky. I was just right place, right time, so it's just the camaraderie, the teamwork. I still have a very high work ethic. And I'm very passionate about helping people, and that's how you become a law enforcement officer. Anyway, it's just you want to help people. That's what you do. Cops and robbers. That's what we used to play all the time when we were kids, right? So yeah, that's what attracted me to that side, and I've been blessed. It was an honor to work for that unit for so long. So.
Is there anything else that you've noticed you've been able to pull from your career into now your career in acting? Any more transferable skills? I know you've already mentioned a couple. Anything else you've noticed?
Well, when I went into the stunt work, that definitely helped me with being more agile, and the unit that I was in. I mean, you get physically tested on your fitness level all the time. And, lucky enough, we kind of get paid to work out every day, right? So I was kind of lucky, right? So that definitely, from the physical standpoint, keeps your body in tip-top shape for the, it is hard standing on your feet for hours and running and doing the stuff that I used to do with the stunts. And mostly, and I really didn't get into the stunt world as crazy as some of the other stuff. Like I can call myself a stunt person, but a stuntman, but I'm really only with the weapons. That's my specialty. I can rappel. I can, I ride horses. I rode horses also for a living a little bit. Jumped out of airplanes, and I'm a martial artist, but I really didn't. My thing was weapons, and that's where, firearms, where I'm extremely skilled with that. But that's basically because of my job that I had for so long. That was a very high level. So those are the skills that are, but also, like I said before, the communication skills, the negotiation skills, and being on camera is very stressful. Some people that aren't aware of it, they, like you said, they freeze, they mumble, they forget their lines, all stuff. They just black out, right? Mm-hmm. But in my situation, because of some of the high risk incidents that I was in, and again, I can work at a very high stress level, but you wouldn't really, you wouldn't see it. I mean, now I can talk about it, but I'm smiling. But that's part of the, when you're communicating with somebody that's in crisis, or you're dealing with something extremely, extremely dangerous. The stress is there, but it's just, the pressure is there. So that helped me as well in the movie industry, that I'm not really, I don't get stressed out. I'm not, my brain isn't foggy. It's always clear. So those are the main points that really helped me in the acting career.
Yeah. Has there been anything surprising to you about the entertainment industry now that you're kind of really heading into it?
There are so many good actors out there. That to me was it is the most surprising. It is so competitive. And even though, like, you know, the industry up north of the border, it's good, you know, but and I know a lot of actors that have been in the industry a lot longer than I have. Like, I only went full actor. It's been 10 months, right? That's it. Before that, I was a stunt actor. So it's not, you know, but I'm kind of like, wow, it's so competitive. There's so many good people out there. And it's all about timing. And like I said, all the auditions are really good, I'm sure, of everybody. Like, okay, you have some that are, you know, they're just starting, but most of them, they're really good. But it's just, okay, well, the image, what are they looking for? And that's pretty much what it boils down to. And your representation, and so, but I'm not shying away from moving south of the border either. I'm really not. My family's American. I have some pushback from my wife, but she knows the career that I chose, my second, and I'm all in. I am all in, and I will hit it. So I'm not shy from going south of the border either. If it's short term, long term, you know, it's all good.
I was listening to your episode with the Butchers, the podcast episode, and you said something that made me go, ha, like actually laugh out loud. Well, there were lots of things. It was such a great episode. But because what I think you and I've had a couple experiences in common where we've been asked to be the expert on set. And then, your quote was like, the expert on set is not the expert, right? It's the director who will be like, you'll be like, this is what it's like in real life. And then the director goes, no, I don't want to do that. We're going to do that this way. And you're like, cool. What am I doing here then? All right, I'll just, you know, so your experience with that, you know, I've done some of the medical consulting on set where, you know, we all see the shows, and as people who actually do the job, we just go, oh, look at all the things that's wrong with them, which is kind of fun to watch and make fun of it. But tell me about your experience doing things like that. And
oh my God, many.
I always kind of laugh, and I'm just sorry to ramble here a bit, but I was chatting with someone yesterday, and he is a dentist turned actor, but he looks like a Nova Scotian lobster fisherman. He's got a big shaggy beard, and he got booked to play a Nova Scotian lobster fisherman on the new Air Canada air safety video. They flew him from Toronto to Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. He met with 2 actual lobster fishermen to teach him how to lobster fish. And he goes to the director, why didn't you just hire the actual lobster fishermen? And the director says, well, they can't get directed. They don't take direction. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny. I have been on sets where, let's say they want to do something that it's a little bit, they'll ask me, how would you do this? How would you approach this house? I think it was our first episode. And everybody knew that a lot of the people that were out on that SWAT team, which was Rob's team, it was Jeremy Renner's fix-it team, so to speak. They all knew what we did. And most of us were all SWAT. On that show, and there were some military guys, and they're all super tight team. It was amazing, and they knew, but they would say, well, how would you do this? So I laid it out, okay, Taylor, this is how we would do it, boom, 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 boom. And they're like, nah, it's not gonna work. And I'm like, okay, well, and that's where you learn to say, you know, be a sponge and say, okay, how would you like to do this? And I would try and I would massage it a little bit, or one of my teammates would massage it to make it look better for the camera. Like, let's say if we're going towards a house, I wouldn't go where there's lights. I wouldn't go. I would go in a line, kind of like from cover to cover, just in case there's people inside this house with guns, right? But no, he said, well, we'd only see one guy. If you're going in a line, the cameras will only see one person that's coming towards them. So no, spread out. So okay, well, this is not really. Or helmets. Helmets is a big thing with actors, because bad hair day, there's nothing to worry about my hair because it's barely hanging on. But Yeah, with Flashpoint, that was a huge thing at the beginning. Like everybody wore their helmets, and that was a huge series. That was like lasted 8 seasons or something.
Yeah.
And that, funny enough, that Flashpoint was designed after my team. The consulting on that show was actually my team, Team One. Yeah, and that's kind of funny how Hugh Dillon, that's how we kind of, yeah. Great show. But yeah, so they wore the helmets at the beginning, but in the cast were complaining. Oh, they can't see my hair. They can't, goggles. Oh, they can't see my eyes. So they took everything off. You know what? You got to work with it. I mean, the authenticity of productions has gotten a lot better over the years. Before, they used to, shoot with a handgun behind their back or kind of hold it in front of their face, and now they're just gotten a lot better to make it more authentic. And I'm sure in the medical field too. I mean, yeah, they were a lot worse way back when, but now they're getting better because, they want to be credible. They don't want people like yourself to look at this movie and say, that's not how it's done. And the same in my world and the SWAT world, military world. I mean, well, that's not how it's done. But you know what? As long as, movie, they want to sell it, make it exciting and make it bigger than what it should be. And there is a lot of skill to that. So, yeah, they would ask, but sometimes they'll take your points. Sometimes they won't. But it's really, up to the big guy in the big chair, the director.
Do you get asked a lot or audition a lot for cop roles?
Funny enough, I do, but that's not kind of like what I'm looking for. I'm looking to expand. So because of my look and I used to have a full beard and I also shave this off a lot, so yeah, I can go anything from lawyer to doctor to dad, all the way to, of course, military things or SWAT things or policing. I can do that with my eyes closed. But again, they're looking for a certain thing. I mean, the audition is great, but it's all about the look. So, but I do. My agent does do that. But she also knows, that I can do other things too, which I'm totally cool with.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally cool.
With the acting coaching that you're doing, the acting instruction that you're doing with your coach, I would assume, and I'm gonna make an assumption here, just because I'm thinking about some of the high stakes situations I've been in the medical field, high stakes situations you've been in your field, where you have to put a face of calm on, even though you're like feeling like, oh my god, you have to put that face on, and that in turn make you calm. In acting, you have to flip that, right? You need to actually show the world the emotions that you're feeling, which is hard to do if you've been trained so much to do the opposite. How's that going for you? Have you experienced that? What's that been like?
You know what? At the beginning, I was actually going a little bit too extreme into the movements and more my expressions, and as it was just like too much. Wait, okay, Shani, tone it down a little bit. I mean, you're schmecting, like bring it down a couple. Turn the volume down a little bit. So I just love to perform. So it's a little bit more theatric, but. Theater and it's two different things. Theater, they don't see you. You're far away, and so you can be a little bit more over the top. But cameras, they're like right in your face, so they pick up everything. So yeah, I love it. The transition. It wasn't easy, but it's manageable with some training and yeah. I mean, like I said, my coach has been great, and he's bringing me back down to earth, and trying to. More grounded and genuine, and so it's a challenge. I'm not going to lie. At the beginning, I mean, it's a huge skip. People acting for years, going to school for years to get to break in, and some people make it, some people don't. Well, I'm pretty confident I'm going to make it, but it's a lot of work, and yeah, so. It's been great, but yeah, the emotional side of thing and your expressions, yeah, I definitely got to tone it down a little bit and bring it up a little bit. And you got to find that medium, like depending on the role you're auditioning for. But yeah, you just got to find it.
Do you have any advice for anyone who's interested in switching careers into acting?
Definitely don't step into this by yourself and think that you're going to make it overnight. No way. It's a tough career. You need to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to be on set. I mean, you're not going to be bookable. You have to work hard, and people work hard for this. I would definitely recommend getting an acting coach, or taking acting classes in a group. My lifestyle doesn't allow me to actually attend, let's say, a group. It's got to be based on my schedule and one-on-one type thing. It just doesn't work for me. But just baby steps. Make your goal, your expectations small. Don't think that, okay, you do your first audition and you sit by your phone or and wait. Oh, I hope I get this. I hope I get this. I hope I get this. And then they get disappointed because a couple of weeks go by and obviously, they didn't get it. And they're like, what did I do wrong? And they get all stressed out. And then the pressure starts to mount. No, have fun with these auditions. It's work. You're auditioning, you're playing, but it's tough. I'm kind of blessed, and I'm sure you are too, because I don't have to wait tables. I don't have to go struggle and pick up another, to make some income. And a lot of people do. So I'm kind of blessed that I'm not too stressed. It doesn't, if I don't get it, okay, well, they're looking for somebody else. They're lost and on to the next. So I'm pretty lucky that I'm not desperate, where a lot of new people, they go in this and they're thinking they're going to get picked up right away. And then they become desperate, and then the disappointment's there. And then they're like, oh, what's wrong? It's just work on your craft, be patient, and it'll happen. If you're passionate about it, go for it. Go for it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If it's been 2 years and you've done, over 100 auditions and nothing's come your way, maybe go into singing or theater or something else, because something's wrong. But just put the time in, work hard, it'll happen. So that's the advice that I would give to somebody that's starting new, kind of like myself, even though I was behind the scenes for many years. It kind of helped me, I would say.
Tell me about, you kind of mentioned a lot of interesting on-set stories, but do you have a memorable, fun on-set story that really sticks out to you from your time?
It's funny because, yes, I do have one. Way back when I was working, I was bodyguarding for a crew, and it was a film festival in 2019. I think it was the pre-COVID. And I was working for Lionsgate for the Knives Out crew. And it was a really good movie. So you had Chris Evans. Yeah, Chris Evans and Daniel Craig had their own one-on-ones from the same company I worked for. But everybody else was under my umbrella. So Jamie Lee Curtis, Christopher Plummer, legend, Tony Collette, Don Johnson, Arma Dames. That's one of her breakout movies. And so they were all under my umbrella. So little old Shawnee's got to watch these 6 people. But so they have the after parties after they do their red carpet, the after party. So we go to a bar, and I'm in the lead vehicle because I have to look after all the vehicles that come to this restaurant bar. And I come out, and the doorman from the bar opened the door. Well, he reached over to open the door to one of my clients. So of course my hand goes, paff. Hey, get your hand off that door. No disrespect, but these are my people. I will open the doors. I'll make sure that because sometimes the skirts get hiked up, and depending on how they're dressed, you want to make sure that before they walk out and all the cameras are going, that it's not embarrassing for them. So that's one of the things why I open the door, make sure they're presentable, and then I take them up. So but then I hit it off with this guy, really solid dude. And he said, oh, what do you do? And we got in, okay, tactical guy, when you retire, we'll be in touch and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, moving forward, now I'm a mayor of Kingstown. We're training for first episode. Now, the first episode was, we raid a house and we go and we shoot, we kill a drug dealer that killed one of the main characters, which is Jeremy Renner's brother. First episode, that's how the episode went. So we're practicing, and now we're waiting for the actor that's actually the one that the drug dealer that we're going to kill. Sorry for the viewers. I mean, kill it. It's a movie. Shoot or eliminate or erase. How's that? Yeah. The person that we're going to erase, he shows up, and sure enough, I hear, Shawn. I turn around, and it's the doorman from that bar.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I said, dude. So we hug it out, and he says, yeah, I didn't tell you, I didn't have a chance, but I'm an actor, and his name is Mike, really good actor, and he was in the first episode. Unfortunately, we killed him or erased him, so he didn't move on, but he did an amazing job. But yeah, so anyways, so I met him on set while we're training, and it was just a small world how that all happened. And we're friends to this day. I just actually met. Funny enough, I did a podcast for him on Friday, the company that he works for. Solid dude. We're really tight, and that was kind of like the funniest thing, that most recent thing that I had. And yeah, so we became friends. Roberto, that was his stage name on that one. That's that episode. That's kind of like what stands out the most more recent. That was really funny.
Small community, and like the community is, for at least in my experience, and I know it's not everyone's experience, but everyone is so goddamn nice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, you're
nice
right.
people.
Yeah, and that's what makes you want to come back too, right? If you're on set for, let's say, a week or two, or maybe even 2 days, but you get attached to the cast that's there with you, the crew, which they all work really, really hard. It's like every set that you're on, it's like family. It really is. You get to know people, and it's kind of. Yeah, I enjoy it, and I wish I started earlier, but better now than what's the saying? Never better.
Better late than never.
Thank you. Yeah. See, I went foggy for yeah.
Is there anything that you are looking forward to coming up?
In terms of work, or in terms of like, you know what? I'm really looking forward to doing work south of the border. I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping to go visit another agency, a management company in Los Angeles. And that's one thing. I did work for TIFF to do some bodyguarding recently. And so I connected some name. That was the only reason why I did it. It was actually to schmooze with some of these people that are coming from. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind doing the bodyguarding stuff, or the close protection. But I had something in mind that I just wanted to schmooze with people, and I'm really good at schmoozing.
Why are you doing this podcast?
Yeah, there you go. Right. So I met a person, and he said, you know what, he was a talent manager, but for people like writers, there's a name for it, and I don't know the name for it, but he said, Shawn, just send me your stuff and I'll hook you up. So I'm actually looking forward to actually going down there. I told him I can go down there. I can meet you in November or December before Christmas. I can come down and see. So I still plan on doing that. And then going to see what are my options for green cards. That's another thing that I don't mind. So I'm working on that. And and just, I'm really busy with my twin boys. They're a full-time job. They're going to be 7. And I'm daddy daycare, right? So it's just me, right? So I'm looking forward actually to spring, to be honest. I'm not a winter guy. So hasn't even hit us yet, but I'm already looking forward to spring. It's just not my thing, But yeah, I'm just looking forward. Now it's Hallmark season for the movie industry. A lot of that stuff's coming up. Just send me auditions. I'll see what comes out of it. And then obviously, it quiets down for a little bit. I am seeking another agency, so I will be looking after that. She's been great, but, sometimes, people switch agents all the time. And, so I'll be seeking out another talent agent probably in the winter. And then we'll see. You know, I'm excited to see what comes my way, right? So I'm kind of, now let's see what happens. You know.
Would your family describe you as being an actor, or how would they describe you? Like if they were at a cocktail.
They can't believe it, to be honest. You know, they look at me as a grumpy, mean, you know, SWAT guy or military guy. Like, here comes mean daddy. Yeah, you know, they're supportive. They still don't really get it. They like, what happened? Yeah. What happened to Shawnee that finished his career doing this and went totally somewhere, you know, different than what they expected. They thought I'd be staying in like the, you know, like security or something like that, you know, or teaching, you know, something to that effect. But nope, no, I went right into some other career, and it's been awesome. It really, really has. I'm so happy with it. So we'll see what happens. I want that chair. I want that chair. That's the start. That's a start. Yeah.
Do you have any final words of wisdom or advice?
Anything that anybody wants, go for it. Get it. You know, if you really want something in life, don't hesitate. Just go for it and get it, and work hard and put the work in, be passionate about it, be respectful, and it'll happen. It'll happen. Don't be desperate. You know, as soon as you become desperate, you make mistakes, which mistakes are okay. Just learn from them. Take advice from a lot of people that are in this industry, especially in the acting industry. Even in my old career in the policing industry, get advice, get help, guidance, to put you on the right path, because, you know, stay in your lane, because as soon as you veer off, you'll get lost. Let people help you. And just enjoy it. Whatever you decide to do, enjoy life. And that's something that, for a long time, I was in a position that, I just had to help other people. Now it's my time. And I'm going for it. So see what happens with that. I'll keep you posted.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you, Shawn, for being my guest this week. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share your story with me and with my audience. And thank you, Andrew Butcher, for introducing us. I so appreciate you, and Shawn, I so appreciate you as well, too. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I hope you'll join me next week for another episode of Second Act Actors. Bye!